It is a busy day in the bee yard, and actually it looks so busy I think I see a hive that looks like it's swarming. Yep, this one is swarming. Hey Jordan, have you seen a swarm take place? Well, there's one taking place right here, right now. This is one of the ones I intended to split earlier. The bees are literally pouring out of the hive, sometimes falling down onto the ground. They're coming out so fast they're getting pushed by their sisters. So we'll just have to see where this one goes, because we have to catch this one. Usually takes about 5 minutes for the bees to pour out of the hive. And then the question is, are they going to land somewhere accessible or not? 2 days ago I was in the Monroe yard, had the same thing happen while we were there. They started to swarm. Now, unlike the Monroe yard, where the queen got stuck in the grass, there's no grass to get stuck on here. Swarming is the most exciting time for the bees. They get totally preoccupied with the process of forming a swarm and making a new house. The bees are usually very gentle when that happens. So the air is full of bees here right now. There's a breeze picking up, so it could help them fly a little further than normal. With luck, they'll just land somewhere very close by, like on one of these little bushes. This year, as I say, I've had more swarms this year than I've had in my previous 2 or 3 years combined. And it's all because the weather has been so warm. And in part it's also because I've got so many hives and it's hard to keep pace with them all. But when the weather gets right and we have a fantastic spring like we've had, it's hard to keep up with this many hives. So you're going to lose some swarms. Basically, if you have swarms, it means you've got strong hives. And if you're not getting swarms, it means your hives have been either oversplit or you're just not pushing them enough to get the best resources. Sometimes you don't get swarms because you manage them really well, but that also involves a bit of luck. Swarms trying to stay low to the ground because of all the wind. Try to shelter the camera from the wind. I still haven't got an external microphone that I can put a little furry cap on. So where are these girls going to go? Bees are still pouring out of that hive. This is one of my Saskatraz hives. But pretty soon it'll stop pouring out and this swarm is going to take on some direction. So looking at this wind keeping them low to the ground, that's good news, but they can go high up too. I don't want them up there. Okay, they've mostly stopped pouring out of the hive now. The front of the hive is taking on more normal appearance. So, where's the swarm going? The swarm is now behind me over here. And it's moving off into this side of the yard. We'll see how far they go. Where are they going to land? Hopefully not in the neighbor's yard, but there's no controlling it. Mother Nature in all her glory. Good. So far they're staying relatively low, and they seem to be hovering over this half of the yard. My guess is they're going to land in one of these bushes over here. They're coming this way. When they do start to land, what you just see is a tightening of the flying circles. They're still up here. This appears to be the location of choice. You can see some starting to land on the birch tree here. If that's the case, that's perfect. In fact, as it happens, I had a swarm land on this same birch tree a few days ago. What they tend to do when they when they land somewhere, they tend to mark it with pheromones. And the next swarm that comes along very often will land in exactly the same place. So it looks like they're going to land in this birch tree. Just in time for me to go to my appointment with the dentist. I know what I'd rather be doing. I'd rather be catching a swarm. I'm going to open the gate. See, the swarm is starting to coalesce in this location. Let's see if it continues to do so. Sometimes they start in one place, then move on a little bit. The breeze will slow down the process. starting to pile on there now. Funny, I never noticed how you have bees full of with pollen on their legs even in the swarm as well. In the middle of the swarm here. What a wonderful experience. So, I better go to my appointment. Maybe we'll let Jordan catch this one. Bigger. Now the risk of leaving this swarm here to be a while is this swarm's going to hang out here for about anything between an hour and 5 days. And what they're going to be doing is once the group is established, they're going to send out scouts and check out hollow tree in the woods over this way and a hollow tree in the woods down that way and the occasional soffit of somebody's house. And this is why we want to try and make sure we capture the swarm. It's not just because it's a loss of production from the hive, but it's also could potentially create a nuisance for somebody else. So while this temporary structure of a swarm is formed here, they're sending out scouts and they will check out all these different areas, and then they're going to decide on which one to move. It's sort of like presidential primaries. They check out a tree over this way, a tree over that way, soffit over here, another tree over there. And at first there's dancing, bees, scout bees dancing, saying, come and check this one out. And then the bees go and follow it out and check it out. And the other one's saying, no, go and check this one out. And eventually we say, no, we're not going here. Then they say, no, we're not going there. And they narrow it down from 5, 4, 3, 2. And then once they've got one location, then all these bees will take off and move into the next one, into their new permanent home. Some bees are just hanging out waiting for the others to make up their mind where to go. They're just landing on the tree nearby. And all of these groups of bees will move over where the swarm is. So the swarm is really well formed now, but by no means finished. And right now it's loose and kind of big, and they're going to tighten up and tighten up. So right now the swarm looks big, but it's going to get a bit smaller because they're going to tighten up their grip. But it will also look bigger because all these bees are going to join them. These ones are just resting. They've not done a lot of flying before. A lot of them are very young bees. They've never flown before. They need a little bit of rest. Well, we'll come back to them later. So there we have another distraction for today. We're supposed to be splitting hives, but the bees are doing the splitting ahead of us. Pretty hard to keep up with it this year. It's quite a year for swarming. So if you're getting discouraged because you're getting swarms, just look at how many videos I've posted in the last few days of all the different swarms I've had. So it happens to all of us. I'm Peter Catlin, the Bee Whisperer. Let's see what happens when we package up these bees. Or try and put them in a new... Let's see what happens when we try and capture these bees later on. Jordan? Hey, Jordan? Jordan? When I come back from my appointment, I'll film you capturing that swarm, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So the swarm is well and truly settled now. It's a decent sized swarm, a primary swarm, no doubt. So Jordan is going to capture. Is this your first swarm, Jordan?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so get that as close as you can. Push the sticks out right out of the way. These ones at the bottom. I'll try and put a foot on them. Okay, and you can start to brush the bees in. You can be rigorous. The faster you do it, the more effective it is. Now, the other thing we can do, Jordan, we can pull the tree over this way, then we can shake it. So I'm going to pull it over a bit. Now you can brush them in. Pity about these leaves being in the way. I'm going to shake this a bit, okay? Now brush them out. Now we've got 99.9% off the tree and lots down here. This is where things start getting really interesting. Is the door to the box open on the other side? Good. And the bees are working their way in. And I would say we've captured this one. We could probably close this over.
So if I'm doing that, does that mean that the queen's in there?
Exactly, that's right. They're all scenting furiously. And all the bees are on the ground, which we're going to avoid trying to step on. They're going to start walking right in. The other side. Use the brush and brush them down to the, let's use the brush here. Just brush them down to the ground there, leave the box exactly where it is. And now those bees will start walking right in. And they're just sort of marching in of their own accord. And this is on the tarp or something, you just watch them all do it on by themselves like that. It's just amazing. Good job, Jordan. Well done. Okay, let's just leave it there. Just put that top over a bit. And actually, what we should do, one more thing here, is just brush them off the tree again. I'll shake it and you brush. Then we can close it up. Just close it up gently. It doesn't have to be all the way over. Just as best you can. And well, that's good. And they can come in and up the sides and that way as well. So we're trying to keep ahead of the swarms. If we can capture 1 and 2, we're doing okay. I'm Peter Cow and the Bee Whisperer, and that's Jordan. And we're hoping that we've got had enough swarms of the day. And we've split a lot of hives today as well. See you next time.